The Young and the Restless spoilers by Nikki. Welcome back to our channel, fellow Genoa City addicts. Today is a beautiful, sunny day, which is highly ironic considering the incredibly dark and emotional places our favorite show is taking us this week. Grab a massive cup of coffee and maybe a whole box of tissues, because we have a huge amount of heartbreak to unpack today. I cannot even breathe right now. I am literally typing this up at 2 a.m. because I just finished rewatching the latest episodes and my mind is completely blown. I mean, I am still shaking from what we just witnessed. Melody Thomas Scott just won Performer of the Week, and let me tell you, she deserves an Emmy, a Golden Globe, an Oscar, and every single acting award on the face of this planet for what she just did. I am completely wrecked. Are you guys wrecked? Because I am wrecked. I just need to vent about this because nobody else in my real life understands the sheer magnitude of what Nikki Newman is going through right now. I've been watching since 2015, and this is the worst and best thing they've done in years. It is the worst because it is so incredibly painful to watch a character I love suffer this much, but it is the best because the acting is just out of this world. We all knew the brain tumor storyline was going to be heavy. We knew the tumor was pressing on her optic nerve and that the surgery was incredibly risky. But watching it actually play out, watching the aftermath, it is a completely different level of emotional devastation. There are so many things in our daily lives that we just take for granted, right? Waking up, seeing the sunlight, looking at the stars, just navigating our own homes. But for Nikki, that has all been ripped away in the most brutal way possible. So, let's talk about the exact moment those bandages came off at the clinic. I was sitting on the edge of my couch, biting my nails down to the quick. The doctor warned her. He warned all of us that the optic nerve is incredibly sensitive and that she might be permanently blind. It could heal, sure, but it could also just be gone forever. And when the doctor carefully unwrapped the gauze, the silence in that room was deafening. You could hear a pin drop, and then the look on Nikki's face. Oh my God, the look on her face. Melody Thomas Scott played that moment with such devastating subtlety. In a world of soap operas where people are constantly screaming and throwing vases and overacting every little paper cut, Melody chose quiet, paralyzing terror. She didn't flail around. She just let this wave of complete shock and despair wash over her features. When she screamed, "It's all black!" There is nothing. I swear to you, my heart stopped beating. My stomach dropped into my shoes. It was so raw and so real that I felt like I was intruding on a deeply private, horrific moment. Because, think about it, this is Nikki Newman. I've been watching this show for years and years, and Nikki has always been this pillar of strength, glamour, and fierce independence. To see her reduced to absolute vulnerability is jarring. Melody captured that physical disability without an ounce of exaggeration. It takes so much bravery and skill for an actor to play a loss of senses without making it look cartoonish, and she nailed every single micro-expression. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to talk about the scenes back at the ranch before I completely lose my mind over the mirror scene. Okay, back to the point. So they get back to the Newman Ranch, and her family is hovering. Of course they are hovering. Victoria is there, trying to be strong, telling her mother that she knows she will get her sight back. But you can see the absolute exhaustion in Nikki's posture. She just wants to rest, but more than that, she wants to prove she isn't helpless. And that brings us to the stairs. Am I the only one who was holding their breath when Nikki insisted on counting the steps all by herself? Without a cane! She is completely blind, navigating the staircase of this massive ranch, just counting her steps because she refuses to be pitied. She told Victor she needed to know she could manage on her own. It is so quintessentially Nikki. She is terrified, but her pride is still intact. She doesn't want to feel defeated no matter what the outcome is. Even if the darkness is permanent, she is going to walk up those stairs with her head held high. But then we get to the sofa scene with Victor, and I am sorry, but I am so conflicted here. Victor is playing the sweet, doting husband. He gets her a blanket, he asks her if she's anxious, He wraps his arms around her, and part of me is like, "Aw, Victor loves his baby." But then I remember what he did. I mean, are we just going to forget that a few weeks ago, when Nikki was heavily medicated and having severe panic attacks about dying, this man manipulated her into signing a medical proxy that secretly transferred all her personal shares of Newman Enterprises into a trust he controls? He is liquidating her assets behind her back. I am screaming at my television. How can he sit there and act like the perfect, supportive husband when he literally robbed her, blind pun absolutely intended, I'm sorry, while she was incapacitated? It makes my blood boil. And Nikki, bless her heart, she knows something is off with him, even if she doesn't know about the shares yet. She sits there, wrapped in that blanket, and she directly asks him if his hatred for Jack Abbott is stronger than his love for her. Yes, Nikki. Drag him. Because Victor has been using this whole Patty Williams and Matt Clark situation to terrorize the Abbotts, and Nikki is sick of it. She went to visit Jack in the hospital, and Victor treated it like a massive betrayal. So for her to sit there in her darkest hour and essentially ask him if his petty vengeance is more important than her peace of mind, it was a masterclass in character dynamics. Victor says she is safe, but she flat out tells him she is angrier at him than she has ever been. Good for her. Don't let him off the hook just because you can't see his smug mustache. I know some people are loving this storyline, but personally, I find it so hard to watch Victor be this emotionally abusive while pretending to be her savior. It just adds this sickening layer of dread to Nikki's already tragic situation. She is leaning on the man who is actively stripping away her corporate legacy. When she finally finds out, the explosion is going to be legendary. Okay, deep breath. Let's get to the climax of the week. The mirror scene. I know we all have our favorite soap moments, but this one just skyrocketed to the top of my list. Nikki is alone in her room. She is sitting at her vanity. The vanity? The place where Nikki Newman has spent 45 years putting on her armor, applying her lipstick, making sure every hair is perfectly in place before she goes out to face the world and fight her battles. And now, she is sitting there nervously brushing her hair, and she can't even see her own reflection. The tension in that scene was suffocating. You could feel the anxiety building with every stroke of that hairbrush. She is trying to hold on to this one normal routine, this one piece of her identity, but the reality of her situation is just crashing down on her. She is trapped in the dark. And then she smashes the mirror. Oh my God. When she took that hairbrush and shattered the glass, I literally jumped off my couch. It wasn't just anger. It was pure, unadulterated agony. The sound of the glass breaking followed immediately by her breaking down into these deep, gut-wrenching sobs. It was the sound of a woman who feels completely and utterly defeated. The mirror is useless to her now. Her old life feels useless to her now. It was such a powerful visual metaphor for her shattered reality. Melody Thomas Scott poured 45 years of character history into those sobs. I've been watching this show for a long time, and I remember when they gave her the MS storyline. Remember when they tried this level of angst with her alcoholism relapses? Yeah, it didn't work nearly as well then, but she acted the hell out of those too. But this feels different. This feels so much more permanent and terrifying. With the MS, she could fight it with physical therapy. With the alcohol, she could fight it with meetings and willpower. But you cannot willpower your optic nerve back to life. She is completely at the mercy of her own body, and that is Nikki Newman's worst nightmare. I just can't stop thinking about the sheer physical toll this must take on Melody as an actress. To go to work every day and tap into that level of profound grief and terror. She has proven, without a shadow of a doubt, why she is a daytime legend. She doesn't just play Nikki, she is Nikki. Every time she cries, we cry. Every time she fights back, we cheer. And right now, seeing her so broken is physically painful for the viewers. And can we just talk about the lighting and the direction in these scenes for a second? Because it was absolutely phenomenal. The way the shadows played across Nikki's face when she was sitting at that vanity, it just emphasized the darkness that is slowly consuming her world. The directors really stepped up their game here. Usually, daytime TV is lit so brightly, everything is so flat and perfect. But they let this scene be moody. They let it be ugly and raw. The contrast between her glamorous demeanor and the violent, jagged edges of the broken mirror was just pure cinematic poetry. I have to give massive props to the entire production team for treating this storyline with the gravity it deserves. I also have to wonder how this is going to affect the rest of the Newman family dynamics. Nick is already spiraling out of control with his drug addiction and his violent obsession with Matt Clark. Sharon is terrified of him. Victoria is secretly sparking up this highly controversial romance with Kyle Abbott while mourning Cole Howard. The entire family is a complete mess right now. And normally Nikki is the glue holding them all together. She is the one who talks sense into Nick. She is the one who keeps Victoria grounded. With Nikki incapacitated and entirely focused on her own survival, who is going to stop the Newman kids from completely destroying themselves? Victor is too busy plotting hostile takeovers and terrorizing Jack to actually parent his adult children. It feels like the entire Newman empire is teetering on the edge of a massive cliff, and Nikki's blindness is the wind that's going to push them all over. So what is going to happen next? I am honestly dreading it, but I am also completely here for the drama. Will her sight slowly come back? I kind of hope it doesn't happen too fast. I want to see her struggle, adapt, and eventually overcome this. I want to see her learn to navigate the world and realize she is still powerful, even in the dark. I want to see her find a new kind of independence that doesn't rely on her physical vision. But more than that, I am waiting for the other shoe to drop with Victor. What happens when she finds out about the Newman Enterprises shares? What happens when she realizes Victor used her brain tumor and her blindness as an opportunity to steal her corporate power? I am telling you right now, if she doesn't take that cane and whack Victor upside the head with it, I am going to riot. She is going to go absolutely nuclear, and I am going to be sitting here with my popcorn, cheering her on. Am I the only one who thinks Victor is going to regret this more than anything he's ever done? He thinks he is protecting his empire, but he is going to lose his wife. You can't just strip a woman of her independence, steal her assets while she's blind, and expect her to just smile and ask for another blanket. Nikki is a survivor. She survived cults, she survived Diane Jenkins, she survived being shot, and she will survive this. But man, watching her in the trenches right now is tough. Melody Thomas Scott's performance this week is going to go down in Y&R history. The mirror smash is going to be in every highlight reel for the next 20 years. It was visceral, it was heartbreaking, and it was perfect. If you haven't watched it yet, what are you even doing? Go watch it right now, and then come back here so we can cry together. Because I am definitely going to need a support group to get through the rest of this storyline.